Well, good evening, friend. I am so honored to spend a few minutes with you this evening. Before we get started on our topic tonight, dealing with disappointment, take a moment, if you would, and contact a friend. Share this with someone that's going through a very challenging time right now. We all face disappointments. Many of us face disappointments on a regular basis. There's someone that you know right now who may be dealing with a very difficult situation. They just can't seem to get over the despair and the anger and the fear, all associated with being disappointed over something. So click a button and share this post with somebody. All last week we talked about standing, and I have another lesson that I want to share with you tonight from that third grade dropout dad of mine, the wisest man I ever met in my life, a third grade dropout. I never saw him disappointed for a long period of time. He had disappointments. We grew up poor. We had all kinds of issues like we all do. He experienced loss, he and my mom. But my dad didn't hold on to disappointment. And I really didn't get it until I started applying a simple teaching that he taught me to my life. My father would say, son, there's a bright side. There's a bright side. You have to keep living and you have to look for that bright side. What in the world does that mean? Well, I think I'm starting to get it at age 61. I'm starting to realize exactly what that third grade dropout was trying to teach me all those years ago. You know, we all deal with disappointments. A lot of us deal with disappointments from friends, from relatives, from coworkers. We're going through a disappointing time right now with regard to finances or health or a situation that just robs us from our sleep and just causes our peace to erode away. We're just disappointing. And dealing with that disappointment is tough because if you're like I am, you're playing that disappointment in your mind over and over and over again. I'm going to say something and it's going to sound a little bit strange, but just stay with me. I really believe that in the short term, disappointment can be positive. Now, in the long term, disappointment can have devastating consequences. Disappointment can lead to despair and it can lead to doubt. It can lead to discouragement and eventually it can lead to depression. I've been in each one of those places. But I want you to listen to the words of Thoreau, as in Henry David Thoreau. I want you to listen closely to Thoreau. He said, if we will be quiet and ready, we shall find compensation in every disappointment. I need to say that again. If we will be quiet and ready, we shall find compensation in every single disappointment. Those are powerful words. Now, to no one's surprise, and many of you know this, Thoreau was mentored by Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said on one occasion, an opportunity missed is an opportunity lost. I want you to put these two quotes together. First, Thoreau, if when facing disappointment, we will be quiet and ready, we will find compensation. Now, Emerson, if we quiet ourselves, that opportunity that we'll find in the midst of disappointment will present itself. If we're not ready, it's lost. It's completely lost. So I want you to think about this for just a moment. How can how can disappointment help me in the short term? How in the world, Rick, can I benefit from it? Think about this. Disappointment forces you to think over and over and over again about what happened. It's forcing you to face that reality. You begin to evaluate, well, if I would have said this or if I would have done that. You're constantly replaying it. I was really disappointed by something in just the last week. I must have replayed the scenario 25 times in my mind. Guess what I came up with? Because of all that evaluation, I asked myself some very basic questions. Rick, were you true to yourself? Yes. Were you true to your values? Yes. Did you accomplish your purpose? Yes. Did you do the very best that you possibly could? Yes. Without the pain of going through those tapes in my mind over and over and over again, I would have completely lost perspective. But because I forced myself to just continue to reevaluate things, I regained a brand new perspective. So here's the action step that third grade dropout tried to teach me years ago, and I'm just now getting it. When disappointment hits, look for opportunity. I'm going to say it again. When disappointment hits, look for opportunity. That's the last thing we do. And if we're not careful, we won't look for opportunity. We'll stay in disappointment land. Friends, I have built houses in disappointment land. I have condos at Disappointment Village. I mean, it starts as simple as this. I'm disappointed that the movie I wanted to see is no longer in town. I'm disappointed that the table I wanted at the restaurant is not available. I am so disappointed that I can't find a parking space at this mall. How do they expect me to shop? I can't find a parking space. I'm so disappointed. Think about that. Just think about what that does to your brain. Think about how that informs your heart if you're constantly living over and over in disappointment land. Instead, listen again. Listen to the words of Thoreau again. If we'll be quiet, disappointment hits. It hits. If we'll be quiet and if we'll be ready, we'll find compensation in every single disappointment. Ready? Here it is. Here's the model. This is what I want you to start practicing. Disappointment strikes. The first question you ask yourself is this. Okay, I'm not happy here, but where's the opportunity? There's got to be an opportunity somewhere. I'm going to quiet myself. I'm going to ask myself, where's the opportunity? Thoreau said there's compensation in every single disappointment. His mentor, Ralph Waldo Emerson, said an opportunity missed is an opportunity lost. I'm going through this disappointment. I can't change that. I'm going through it. But if I keep evaluating, maybe I'll find the opportunity. The worst disappointment in my life was losing my wife, Trina, 21 years ago. But guess what? Even though I couldn't see opportunity then, 21 years later, I have the opportunity tonight to talk to you. Years later, I have the opportunity to encourage people, to offer hope. You see, the real question isn't, do you have to wait 21 years or 21 months or 21 days? The real question that we ought to ask ourselves is, every day, are we using disappointment to help shape us, to help encourage us, to challenge our thinking? Are we using disappointment to prepare ourselves for the opportunity so that we're ready when it comes? Remember Thoreau's words? That if we're quiet and if we're ready, we'll find compensation. I want you to start looking at disappointment in a very different way starting tonight. The next time that disappointment strikes, just like the third grade dropout taught me, you look at the disappointment long enough to play it in your mind over and over and over. You're evaluating what you could have done differently, what you did, what you said. The first thing you need to do after you evaluate is ask yourself, did you do the best job you possibly could? Were you true to yourself? Did you fulfill your purpose? Did you stay true to what you wanted to do? Did you honestly stay so committed to your values or whatever it was that against all odds you chose to be true and right? Did you do that? Did you do your best? That's the first thing I want you to do. Then ask yourself, okay, where's the opportunity here? Where is the opportunity? I didn't see opportunity 21 years ago, but I'm speaking to you tonight. There will always, always, always be an opportunity presented in every single disappointing situation. The question is, will you be quiet enough and ready enough to receive it, to learn from it, to grow from it, and to hopefully someday help others by it? Friend, I so enjoyed being with you this evening. I hope you're encouraged. Many blessings upon you until we meet again.